Hello and thank you for your interest in the HairMax LaserComb. The HairMax is the first and only medical device cleared by the FDA and clinically proven to promote hair growth and treat androgenetic alopecia, more commonly known as pattern baldness or genetic hair loss. Hi, my name is David Sinclair, and during this program I'll be introducing you to a breakthrough in medical technology that may just be the light at the end of the tunnel in your fight against hair loss. Worldwide, hundreds of millions of people suffer from hair loss. Most hair loss is attributed to genetics and is known as androgenetic alopecia or pattern baldness. Prior to the HairMax, there were only two products accredited by the FDA to treat hair loss. The HairMax offers a third, viable alternative that is safe, convenient, and clinically proven to be effective. And best of all, the HairMax is a one-time investment that is drug-free, available without a prescription, and is free from adverse side effects. I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Matt Levitt. Dr. Levitt is a worldwide authority on hair loss and has dedicated his career to finding a solution for those suffering from this condition.
The future is very bright for people with hair loss, and the future is bright because they have more treatment options than ever before. They have 2 FDA drugs that we know work. They have hair transplants that can look natural, and they now have low-level laser therapy. HairMax LaserComb has shown through its double-blinded placebo-controlled studies that it's actually able to stop hair loss and grow thicker and fuller hair. The HairMax LaserComb works by a process called photobiostimulation. And photobiostimulation is very similar to photosynthesis in plants, where actually light is absorbed into the skin and then into the mitochondria being the powerhouse of the cell. And what happens when actually you get that light absorbed into the mitochondria is that hair follicles are energized to become fuller, they become thicker, and they become healthier.
In January 2007, the HairMax became the first ever medical device cleared by the FDA to promote hair growth and treat pattern baldness. Until then, only 2 products were recognized by the FDA for the treatment of hair loss in those suffering from pattern baldness. To receive FDA clearance, Lexington International, makers of the HairMax, conducted extensive clinical trials. These clinical trials were multi-centered, double-blinded, placebo-controlled studies. Patients who were suffering from pattern hair loss were instructed to use the HairMax 3 times per week on non-consecutive days for 10 to 15 minutes per treatment. To accurately measure the results, microscopic hair counts were taken and the results were compared after 26 weeks of treatment. The results were very impressive. Over 90% of the participants showed an increase in hair count. The average hair count was 19 new hairs per square centimeter at the end of the trial. This led to the landmark clearance by the FDA and solidified the HairMax as the newest FDA cleared treatment for genetic hair loss. During the trials, none of the participants experienced any negative or adverse side effects. And, in fact, in addition to new hair growth, they reported that their hair felt healthier and had more shine, bounce, and manageability. While the exact mechanism of action of the HairMax is still being researched, the results of Lexington's clinical trials have led to several hypotheses on exactly how the HairMax works. The hair growth cycle consists of 3 phases: anagen, catagen, and telogen. During the anagen phase, the hair is in an active growth cycle and, in people without genetic hair loss, continues to grow at an average rate of a ½ inch per month. This phase lasts 2 to 6 years and is characterized by the growth of healthy, thick hairs. The second phase is known as the catagen or transitional phase. In this phase, the hair stops growing and waits to be shed. This phase generally lasts 2 to 3 weeks while the new hair is formed. The final phase of the hair growth cycle is known as the telogen or shedding phase. Here, the hair, which was formerly in the catagen state, is pushed out of the scalp by a new anagen hair. The average human sheds 50 to 100 hairs per day as a result of this phase. In people with androgenetic alopecia or pattern hair loss, DHT and reduced blood flow choke the hair follicle, causing the new anagen hair to be significantly thinner. It is this cycle of hair fallout and progressive thinning of the individual hair follicle that leads to what is referred to as balding. Eventually, as the hair cycle repeats over time, the hairs become increasingly miniaturized and eventually cease to exist. It is hypothesized that the laser light of the HairMax energizes the new hair follicle, lengthening the anagen phase, producing a thicker, healthier hair. The HairMax acts as an anagen inductor, targeting the hair below the scalp at the follicular level to reverse the cycle of miniaturization that is characteristic of pattern baldness. This is a diagram of the hair follicle and the layers which lie beneath it. Now at the base of this follicle is the dermal papilla layer. This layer is responsible for producing the cells which cause the hair to grow. Now when these cells cease to function properly, the hair shaft begins to miniaturize, leading to hair loss. The HairMax is believed to promote healthy hair growth by stimulating the cells in this layer. The result is the thickening of formerly miniaturized hair follicles. Now that you understand more about hair loss and the hair cycle, it is important to learn how to use the HairMax properly to achieve maximum results. Clinical research indicates that the HairMax works best when used 3 times per week for 10 to 15 minutes every other day. The best time to use the HairMax is when the scalp is clean and free of gels, hairsprays, topical therapies, or other hair products. These gels and hairsprays can build up on the laser window, blocking the laser light. If this happens, unplug the HairMax and clean the window with a damp cloth. To use the HairMax, press the power button and wait for the green light to appear. After the device indicates that it has power, press the laser button and a red light will illuminate. This indicates that the laser is on and the product is ready to be used. Start at the front of the scalp and advance the HairMax a ½ inch every 4 seconds. For convenience, the HairMax comes equipped with an audible beep function which lets the user know when to advance. The HairMax comes equipped with a patented teeth mechanism which plows and parts the hair to ensure unobstructed delivery of laser energy to the scalp. Our studies show that without the teeth, as much as 90% of the laser energy can be blocked by the hair. For best results, the HairMax should be used on the entire scalp. After advancing the laser from the front of the scalp to the back of the head, the process should be repeated. In total, treatment should last no longer than 10 minutes. With continued usage, most users will start to see benefits in as little as 12 to 16 weeks. Benefits will include a decrease in shedding and new hair growth that is healthier and more manageable. Remember, the key to seeing the best results is to use the HairMax consistently as recommended for 10 to 15 minutes 3 times per week. The HairMax is best suited for those individuals that are still in the process of thinning or losing their hair. Here are what real users have to say about their experiences with the HairMax.
Since I've started using the laser comb, I've noticed that the hair on the sides is starting to fill in where I needed it most, and I also noticed that the top of my scalp you can't see through anymore, whereas it was very spotty. At the same time, I've seen my hair get more manageable, easier to control, seems to be growing faster, getting, my haircuts are more frequent, and the overall appearance has improved.
The HairMax LaserComb took only about 3 months before I restored my hair to a point where I was comfortable jumping into the pool and letting people see my hair wet. The HairMax LaserComb has restored my confidence in the way I feel about myself.
Well, I noticed my hair begin to thin out in the front hairline, and it was those vellus hairs that I was really concerned about. And I had spoken to a friend of mine in the Midwest who sells lasers, and she recommended the LaserComb to me. And she told me that a friend of hers who is a cosmetic surgeon recommended the LaserComb to all of his patients. And lo and behold, I tried it out, and after about 4 months, front hairline began to thicken up by about 20–25%. Since I've been using the HairMax LaserComb, I have not experienced as much hair loss as I had in the past. Well, my hair is growing a lot faster now, and definitely fuller, better density, and it's definitely easy to manage.
You can be assured that the HairMax is completely safe. Lexington has been researching laser treatments for over 20 years. In all this time, there aren't any reports of unwanted side effects or adverse reactions. HairMax is also CE certified for electrical safety and ISO compliant for international quality standards. The HairMax is proudly manufactured in the USA. And finally, Lexington International, maker of the HairMax, is a member in good standing of the Better Business Bureau. Now that you know more about the HairMax, I'd again like to thank you for your time and interest in this treatment for hair loss that is light years ahead of time. And I hope you found this information on the video to be equally insightful and exciting. And most of all, I hope you realize that thanks to the HairMax, hair loss is now a choice instead of a destiny.